Good morning, Guru. Good morning, Gurus. Welcome to another episode. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Iran sent 500 rockets and drones to Israel last night, dropping the market. Bitcoin fell. It was trying to recover, then dropped to 59,000, then bounced to 63,000, and it destroyed the alts across the board, getting hammered. We're going to jump into the charts. Hit the subscribe button, smash up, thumbs up, and turn on the bell. Let's jump into technicals for Bitcoin now. We're going into the technicals, and you can see this just massive nuke on Bitcoin. It looks quite small on when you zoom out since the bottom, but you can see this drop here, 17% drop from that recent 72k high, almost more now, almost 18% drop. And you can see this is when about 3 a.m. Bitcoin was slightly recovering. We're at 71k, then we dropped yesterday 64k, then we bounced, heading up to 68k, and then there was an announcement that Iran sent rockets to Israel, and then we had this massive drop from 67,000 all the way down to 59,000. Then Bitcoin bounced. Daily stochastic quite oversold. We're still in the channel. You can see that Bitcoin's been climbing. This is the Elliott wave count. This means, though, that the third to fourth corrective wave is no longer finished, because before we had the third to fourth corrective wave here when we came down to around 61. But now this corrective wave is no longer finished, the third to fourth corrective wave. We are not now inside the fourth to fifth final impulse. We are still in the third to fourth corrective. Why? Because we made a lower low on that drop. We went to 59k this time. So technically that we're unknown how far this third to fourth wave can drop now. That was the threat of nuclear war, though, going into the halving, a third world war going into the halving. You can see there's a massive M pattern forming here, though. That does not look good. The biggest real support, I would say, where there's actual support lines, besides the previous bull market. So, okay, where is the strongest support? If we take into all account previous bull market, everything, we have super strong support here at 58k, where we came down tonight. And we have I would say the major area of support on Bitcoin is here at 48k, and the biggest one here at 42k. These are the blue line. These are the super strong supports, and I would say this one is very hard to break. 42k. This is an unbreakable. Why? Because during the 2021 bull market, we hit it once, twice, broke through, came back down, used it as support, hit it twice, hit it again, came back down. And this is on weekly time frame, so it's thousands of touches would have touched along these lines. And you can see when we came up, we also had very heavy resistance at that 40k area as well. So this is our line in the sand at 42k. This is where I don't think Bitcoin comes down, if worst case scenario. We bounced pretty hard. That was the announcement of possible World War III, and we came down on that announcement. It went from 672 to 659. But again, the problem with this is we don't know Israel's response to Iran now. We don't know what this escalation can entail, and if there's going to be more panic in the markets. But you do see that it is making a giant M pattern on the daily. So that's something to be concerned about. Also, the big problem is that weekly count. Remember when we had that Bitcoin candle, and we had that when I closed the trades, a lot of my trades the first time, when we had that Doge candle, and I warned that there could be a big correction after this. Then we had that big correction. I bought down here, then I sold a lot of it here. But that weekly Doge was a reversal candle, and we nullified that candle the last 3 weeks. But because of this drop this week, that candle is no longer nullified, and that inverse head, that Doge candle is still playing out now. Stochastic still overbought. But again, this was the potential of World War III today, the announcement of World War III. And we dropped. Someone knew something yesterday, by the way, when they sold that 30,000 Bitcoin. They knew that this was coming. 72k, they sold 30,000 Bitcoin. We bounced back to 68k. Then the announcement of Iran sending drones and rockets to Israel, and then we nuked to 59k. 59k has been touched twice now. 59k has been touched twice. So this is very strong support here. It's about the response from Israel. Let's go on the daily. Now we're oversold, so we needed to actually become oversold. On the weekly we're still overbought, but daily we're oversold. 4 hourly we're now oversold. Hourly quite oversold. But what I'm seeing is that going into the halving, there wasn't much of a pump after we got to this 70k area. The last few days, no one cared about the halving. And I also see this big M pattern moving up. Also, there's something to be that I've been considering is that we already, if you've been trading with me from the bottom, if you were here mid last year, or if you've been following me for 4 years, but mid last year we were trading Bitcoin, we've already made 339% on Bitcoin in the last year. 339%. So it is quite overbought. And again, the main support I would say is this 59k. We have also a very strong one here. 51k, super strong support. If it ever gets to 51k, you're going to have a mega bounce. 52k. So I'm going to set buy orders. Also, my account got hit super hard the last 7 days, from 846,000 down to 610. So I took a $230,000 hit on these drops. Quite a big hit in the last, that's like in 5 days, 230,000. In the last month, it's sideways action, a lot of movement. 862, 761, 920, 749, 846, and now 610. Today taking the biggest nuke. Still up quite a lot in the last 3 months from 476, but the last few days were a big hit to the account. Now I'm mostly in cash. I've got USDT 303,000. I've got Bitcoin 68,000. One Bitcoin. I deleveraged last night after it bounced a little bit after the drop. MCRT, I didn't sell anything. 46% down 8%. Bitcoin was down 3%. Pocket was down 12%. I want to buy more, but I'm deleveraging from the market till we see how it clears out. Doge, I deleveraged, also down 9%. Worldcoin, I bought a lot yesterday. It bounced, but then I closed it on this drop because I'm just getting out of alts. They took too big of a... Look at this, 13% on World, 10% on Doge, 12%. They just got nuked with Bitcoin. My Bitcoin trade, I also deleveraged from 4.5 Bitcoin down to 1 Bitcoin. But my Ethereum trade hit the liquidation. I added more margin, but it still came down and hit the liquidation. That Ethereum trade cost me about 22k in margin fees, unfortunately. Quite a big hit yesterday. So my Bitcoin trade now, from 4.5 Bitcoin, I deleveraged it down to 3 Bitcoin. It was almost slightly down. Now it's back up a little bit. Now it's just 1 Bitcoin and 610,000. And I'm mainly in cash, 1 Bitcoin. And I'm going to slowly set buy orders here. So one buy order on Bitcoin, that 52k will 100% bounce very strong if we ever got there. So I'll buy 1 Bitcoin at 52k. Actually, 2 Bitcoin. That will bounce very strong if we got there. Bitcoin is finding support here and bouncing quite strong off this 59. The only issue is if there's any escalation with Israel, Iran, it's just another narrative. Before it used to be China ban, now it's World War FUD. It's very interesting. We're getting quite a big bounce here on Bitcoin and big spikes in volume. Look at that, huge, but they're all selling spikes, you see? Before, when we were coming up, the big spikes were the big volume was the buys. You can see massive buy volume coming in. We had like big spikes, all the big spikes as we were coming up from... Let's go zoom out more. On the daily, you can see, since we were coming up from the bottom, you could see that the big spikes in volume, one was here, was green buying volume. Another big spike of volume was here, green buying volume. Another big spike of volume, green buying volume. Another big spike of volume, green buying volume. Another big spike of volume, green buying volume. But as we've gotten up to here, you can see at around when we reached 63k, you can see here now the big buying spike, the big volume. That was the last big volume spike when we went from 56k to 64k. That was a massive buying volume spike on Bitcoin, around 452,000 Bitcoin. Since we got to 64, it's just been quite, the spikes are the red volume cells. So this was a red volume cell. Today, red volume cell, red volume cell. So it is kind of, every time there's volume spike now, it's on a sell, not on a buy. Again, main support 52k. So that's where I put the buys. That's where I put to extend my longs, 52k. So over here, I got 2 Bitcoin at 52k. Here, I'm going to add position. at 52k to add. Let's add 4 Bitcoin to the trade at, oh no, yeah, let's do 4 Bitcoin to the trade at 52k. I would have to add more margin to that other trade to not get liquidated if it comes down. So if we come down to 52k, it will open a 4 Bitcoin long, if there's, in case there's a nuke. Also, again, at 59k, we bounced off quite strong yesterday. It just came down, activated the trades, and like we can go into the 1 minute time frame and watch what happened as it dropped. So yesterday, this was the drop to 59k. You can see on the 1 minute time frame. So as it came down, it was like slowly failing. Someone knew something the last few days. Then at about 3 a.m., there was just one spike on the 1 minute, just one big sell. Then there was another big sell on that right here at about 3 a.m., 3:07. 5,000 Bitcoin was dumped. 5,000 Bitcoin, and then another 4,000 Bitcoin, and then as it came down here, someone's buy orders activated, and they bought 5,000 Bitcoin, and it spiked it back up, then sideways movement. So there was already a lot of preset buy orders at 59,785. Bitcoin's picking up volume. People are buying in after these announcements. So again, sorry, I need to have tea. I've got a bit of the flu. So again, the major supports are 59k and 52k. But that could really have been the bottom on this WW3, World War III possible announcement. It's like a big announcement that, it's quite a big one. Could have been cause, like we could just start moving up from here. I'm quite surprised we haven't been recovering, so people are not jumping straight in to buy. 59k is where they saw the spike, and you can see here a few days, like 1 week ago, we had the same thing. We came down to 59k. If you remember, I sold somewhere here, then we had a drop to 59k. I opened a lot of trades, and then we bounced back. I should have closed my trades in massive profits here. That was a mistake. The last drop, the last 4 days, big drops from 72k. I wasn't expecting so strong drop on going into the halving. I expected a pump, actually. And now the halving is about 3 days away. Quite interesting set of events happening here. World War III as we're going into the halving. Seems sus, right? And such a big deleverage, such big sell-off, erasing all the gains from 59k we reached on February 29th. So not so long ago. The ETFs opened at around 52, and then they dropped. I would keep long at 59, so I've got my long set up here, order at 52 for 4 Bitcoin. I'll add another 2 Bitcoin at 59, because if there is some news that nukes us down there, it would be great to add into this long at 59. And then catch the bounce, and then if it goes lower, I'll be monitoring it closely. But now keep in mind that it can easily move up here now, Bitcoin. After this big sell-off, after this, I've got 300k cash, I've got 1 Bitcoin going into the halving. And now after World War III sell-off, I could buy 1 Bitcoin now, have 2 Bitcoin going, but I want to be mainly in cash right now until I know what's happening, like till the news is more certain. So I'm going to have a breather, wait, keep mainly in cash, and buy extreme fear dips on the sells. Under the video, go down below, sign up to Bybit. That's where I trade. $30,000 bonus when you use this link. 2, take the courses to learn what I'm doing. 3, join us in the Telegram. And this was the news over on X. You can see on my X, 84,400 followers. Someone sold 30,000 Bitcoin, caused a massive nuke in crypto. That was yesterday. And then today, so someone knew about this. I just need 1 more letter to complete my bingo card today. Taiwan Defense Minister for Chinese military airplane. Always keep dry powder for buying deeper dips. Bitcoin ETF investors are trapped. I deleveraged out of the market. Ethereum trade closed. Don't catch a falling knife. I would be careful here going into Monday open. I'm going to stay mainly in cash, and I'm going to buy nukes now. Every time there's a big drop, I'm going to buy red on Bitcoin, and when altcoin is severely hammered, but only if it confirms. There is some altcoins that got so beaten up just today. Like, look at this Pocket, pretty much erased. This is Particia. They launched, and they just got nuked underneath their launch price, down to 15 cents. That would be a great one to buy. Pocket 15.9. Everyone, you have to do your own due diligence. I'm seed investor in a lot of companies. My Guru Ventures is seed investor. I'm just showing you my thoughts. You have to do your own due diligence and consult your own brokers. Pocket went all the way up to 54 cents on that big buy, remember? But it was mainly holding around 25 cents. But after yesterday, it nuked down to 12 cents. But volume increased. Not much recovery on Pocket. Before the bull market started, Pocket was sitting at around 0.02, so it's still up 700%, even after this nuke. But look, volume increased yesterday, going up. Pocket could be something to start buying into a little bit on but the only thing is if Bitcoin recovers now and starts moving up, then the altcoins can start moving up. If there's more bad news on Bitcoin and we get more nukes, alts are going to get hammered. So what I can do is I can set buy orders. So on Pocket, I can set buy orders where there's big supports. So I would say the biggest support on Pocket, today it nuked down to 12 cents. Where it nuked down today is where 12.3 is where you're going to find real support. So if there's another Bitcoin drop, the real supports are actually at those where it came down today. So at 12 cents, 12.3 was really where Pocket has strong supports. So at 12.3, I want to buy $20,000 worth of Pocket. Confirm. Actually, let's buy more because I expect a big bounce off there. But I don't think there'll be enough liquidity at that time. Okay, so that's Pocket. I'm going to set 20k buy orders on all the very big, Uniswap just getting hammered after the SEC. Ethereum, my trade got liquidated, hit stop loss and a liquidation price yesterday. I added more margin as well, so I actually lost like 20k on that trade, unfortunately, because I added liquidation but failed bull flag. It just looks not so nice on Ethereum. Major area of support on Ethereum now. 2,300 and where we are right now, but no bounce on Ethereum, which I find very strange. No bounce. Look at that. It went down to 2.8 and then just bounced a little bit, but failing again. But volume spiked up, but not so beautiful. Bitcoin getting a bit of a bounce. World got destroyed. World went, look at this. The whole bull market of World got erased. So World launched back in 2022. 2023, July, it launched at 20 cents. Then we were buying it. I bought it at like $2. Then we went from here, $2 when we were buying it, when I was buying it. And then it went to $14. I sold some of it actually at around here. But anyway, then it's come back. And yesterday it came all the way back down to $3.60. So that's really where the area of support on World is. But these altcoins, if Bitcoin nukes, they just get destroyed. So $2.70, I'm going to put buy orders for World, which is shocking. But see what I mean about you can always buy back in. You can always get something again. Like something causes something that allows you to get back in, to buy back in. It's quite interesting. So $3.60. $3.60 is a big support, and $2.80. Let's buy $10,000 at $3.60. $2.80. Buy another $10,000. MCRT held up green almost. FXS getting destroyed. I took FXS out of my portfolio because it's not been performing at all during this bull market world. On the weekly, Bitcoin turned red gray on the squeeze mob. On Binance, we came down to 60,000. It didn't come down to 59,000. Interesting. Bounced a bit, but then slight recovery, and then just again quieting down. Volume is still quite strong here, though, after that nuke. This is on the 1 minute time frame, so you're seeing it as Iran launched their rockets and Bitcoin dropped, then a big bounce. 59 is where I would add more to a trade, I think, on Bitcoin if there's a pullback. Yeah, 59. That's my updates in the market, everyone. Quite a long video. Thank you for watching. That's my updates in the markets, everyone. Praying for Israel, Iran, peace in the Middle East, peace around the world. Hopefully it doesn't escalate into World War III. If it does, like a lot of wealthy friends have been talking, that if there is massive escalation, they believe the safest places are Patagonia, New Zealand, Tasmania, which is quite interesting. Let's see how it plays out, and I'm going to monitor it closely, monitor the charts. I do think Bitcoin took a big hit. It's lost a lot of support now. So that 59 support was actually quite strong to manage to hold it in that panic. Which is interesting. And someone knew about it yesterday when they sold 30,000 Bitcoin, which is very interesting. Hit the subscribe button, smash up, thumbs up, and turn the bell. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.